Morning, everybody. Todd Abel. I was doing night ops out there. I'll give you a quick current situation, what we dealt with last night. I'm going to start down here in Kilo Kilo. Real quiet. They continue to patrol down there, make a presence within all those structures, but things are looking really good. As you come up into Bravo Bravo, kind of the same thing there. Just kind of patrolled, showed a presence in there. We still have a lot of residents in there, so we want to make sure we're showing that we're still in there, diligently doing what we need to do day and night, but it was looking good. Up into Hotel, that's obviously where some of the work's been, as everybody knows. We're right on the back side of all these structures right here. Last night, what we were able to do is there's a driveway that comes down to these houses that kind of in the upper end there. They were able to get fired down to that corner. That fire kind of tapers off now and runs through here, so there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in there today. We had to stop about 1 o'clock this morning. The winds were real squirrely up there. It threw some spots over the dozer line. We were able to pick them up, with the help of some of the day resources that stuck around a little longer. The biggest one is probably 1/10 of an acre. We got dozer line around that. There is a snag in the middle of it, so we kind of want to stay away from it during the nighttime hours, but it'll be something that'll need to be dealt with today. But we did pick up a bunch of spots, and that's when we decided to shut off the burning. But it's at least down to the dozer line. Things are looking a little bit better. Hopefully we set you guys up for success for today, but it'll take some work in there today also. Coming up into the upper part of Hotel and Alpha. This is all looking good. Right before I came in for briefing, I took a quick drive down there. Things are backing down to the river. No issues, looking really good. It may need a little work in there to square that up this morning, just so it doesn't make any uphill runs, but that'll be determined by the divisions out there. One side note, right before I came in again, a tree came down on the power lines on the black side. It arced it all over the place. No issues. The drone that was flying last night did a bunch of grids in the green, picked up no spots. I don't know exactly where those power lines go eventually, but where the tree came across, it was over pavement in the black. The electric company was on their way out there as I was coming in, so hopefully it's no factor. That tree should be off the power lines, but just a heads up when you get out there as you come through this country, make sure you're nice and slow, driving nice and slow to make sure that that's still not blocked, but it should be off there. Coming into Alpha, some of this stuff down in this country right here, where it kind of pooched over that 11 road. They had crews in there monitoring it, patrolling, cooling off where they needed so it didn't set up for you guys today. So hopefully, again, that won't be an issue. It won't set up for any alignment and make runs on you guys until you're prepared to do what we need to do in there. If you guys do have any questions, divisions, leadership, anybody, come see me afterwards. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Have a great day.
Morning, everybody. Scott Stutzman from the Structure Branch. Today we're going to have five task forces out there. We'll still have the blue group down here with two. They'll continue to push the gray group up into Division Hotel. Up in this northern area, we'll have Structure Group Gray, and they'll continue to work this north end and this Green Tree Loop. We've also have the Structure Group Orange, which is working in our contingency. They'll be on the east and north side of the Rogue River, working these structures up here in the north end. So thank you. Have a good, safe day.
Good morning. Tom Wright, incident meteorologist. Your IAP forecast is on page 18 in your IAPs. So obviously one of my jobs is to come out here and give you a weather forecast with lots of numbers and words in them, and I know that those probably you start to glaze over after a while looking at the same numbers every day. And I mean, the numbers are there on page 18, and you can read those, and I think you should and understand them. But I think the more important part of my job is to come up here and just try to keep you guys safe. I don't want anything with weather-wise to come up and bite, no thunderstorms or strong winds or anything unexpected. So, if I get the forecast right, it was 88. I forecast 88 at Limpy Creek, and it was 88. And I run over to the F-band. I say, look, it was 88, and I got that right. And he goes, okay, great, and that's neat, and rolls his eyes when I walk away. So, the forecast is what it is. It's right there. It's just a general overview of the weather for your area. I can do spot forecasts for your particular burnout operations or whatever. But my most important thing is my most biggest concern is your safety, just like the rest of the incident management team. So I come up here and try to give you in the morning briefing the screaming message for the day. And oftentimes it's the same because the weather around here doesn't change that much. And today it is the same again, exactly the same words as I wrote yesterday in the IAP, which is near critical fire weather conditions today. Haines is down a little bit. There's a little bit of moisture. You saw some clouds in the air yesterday, way up high, so that brought in a little bit more moisture, knocked down the Haines. So the instability and the moisture aloft aren't as bad as they have been, but it's still very dry and very warm down here at the surface. And again, the smoke's over the top, so we're not going to have quite as much sun this morning as we might. And what I like to say is that sort of spring loads the temperatures. So once that smoke starts to clear, when that northwest wind kicks in that we've had every day, you're going to start to see increased potential for fire activity. So again, same screaming message, watch for those northwest winds kicking in, and today's temperatures are a little bit lower, so those winds, that comes at the expense of those winds potentially being a little bit higher. So we might actually be just a little bit more critical in terms of wind and humidity this afternoon as compared to yesterday. So 1,600, 1,700 or so is when those winds have been kicking in. Should see the same thing today. So stay safe. If you have any questions, I'll be on the side. Thanks.
Tom summed it up pretty well. Weather conditions have kind of stayed the same for the last several days. As you guys are all aware, fire behavior is very dependent on weather. So when weather gets locked in, so does fire behavior. So we throw a lot of words around in firefighting like complacency. And the reason I bring that up is we can get complacent in our forecasts, we can get complacent in our briefing messages, and I just want to be that little voice that sits here and goes, okay, the potential is there. You saw fire behavior yesterday where we get alignment with the topography and the winds, we get pretty aggressive fire behavior. So if you're working in an area where you have the fire above you and green below you, that's a potential risk to you. So rollout material, any kind of spotting below the lines, anything that could create fire behavior below you is going to move uphill pretty rapidly. So we have some pretty critical operations going on in hotel where we're trying to lock in that fire around those structures and stuff. You're going to continue to see those spotting issues. There's a lot of topography out there, so you're going to see some weird wind once in a while that's going to move the smoke in different directions. Just be aware of that stuff and pay attention to that spotting, because that's going to be your threat. Overall, on the west side of the fire is going to probably reach into the Gillese Creek area today at some point. There's some areas that it's pretty close to the creek itself. They're trying to check that up, but it's going to make it down in there. So as we move around from the north to the south end, we're going to continue to run into the same type of conditions. Very dry fuels, shifting winds in the afternoon, and working in areas that's very steep, and we have rollout and spotting potential. So just let me be that little voice there. Remember where you are, look around you, take care of yourselves and your crew. Have a good day.
Good morning, Mike Cafferetta from the Oregon Department of Forestry. On behalf of the Oregon Department of Forestry, the State Fire Marshal's Office, Bureau of Land Management, and the U.S. Forest Service, I want to thank you for your work. Your missions are important. We're really interested in that part on HH and keeping the fire there where it's contained. And as you move around the horn, finding a way to keep this fire contained as small as you can is very important to all these agencies. I was out there at Hog Creek the night before last, and I was talking to some of the people standing there. And I'll tell you, they were worried about fire. We're dealing with a legacy of the Chetco Bar fire. We're dealing with a legacy of other large fires in this landscape, and they wanted to know, is this fire going to stay where it is? Is this going to cross the river? They live right above that. I want you to know I told them that I wasn't sure. I couldn't make them any promises, but I knew you were doing the best job you could to accomplish your missions and hold the fire as small as you could. So we want to say thank you for your work and have a very safe day out there.